All right. Just need some folks to arrive. Waiting on those notifications from Facebook. They always lag just a bit. Remember, this Sunday is Quasimodo Ginnity. Second Sunday of Easter. The least attended service. And so I would invite you to tune into your pastor's service and make sure that you're there. That way you can be at a service that hardly anyone is ever at. Hi, Gene. Good to see you. Minnesota Mom in the house. One other share and we can get rolling. All right. Everything is gonna be all right. All right. Hi, Ann. Good to see you. Nice catch, buddy. How's it going, Pastor Ray? Oops. Short. Hey. Ooh, long. One last one while we wait for a few more people to get here. Ooh, short. Oops, short again. It's not as easy as it looks. Oh, he's not paying attention. All right, let's get rolling. Enough of that. And time to get hopping. We are in Matthew chapter 9. Matthew chapter 9. It's good stuff time. It's good stuff time. That's my own fault. All right. Now remember, he just dealt with... Get in your bed. He just dealt with the Pharisees who basically, for all intensive purposes, despised him for healing the leper, sitting at the table of the tax collector and sinners and eating with them. And he responds by saying, it's not the healthy that need a doctor, but the sick. Learn what this means. I desire mercy and not sacrifice. Bad throw. Hi, Brian. Good to see you. All right. So, and then, the disciples of John, John the Baptist, come to him and says, why do we and the Pharisees fast pola? That's much, and that's often. But your disciples do not fast. Hi, Randall. Good to see you. Why do your disciples fast? Get back in. Good boy. But your disciples don't fast, but everybody else's disciples, and you can almost hear in this a little bit. I think there's just a little bit. Hi, Gail. Just a little bit of, why do we have to do this and you're not doing it? Why do we have to why do we have to do this and you don't have to do this? Why are they doing it but not you? Why are you out? Hi, Cheryl. And Jesus said, are the wedding guests are the sons of the bridal chamber able to be sad? So this is are the wedding guests able to be sad? Are the sons of the Joshua, I would love to help you out with the Mets and LSU at a different time. Why do you, so the question why do we fast and the Pharisees fast, but you don't fast that often? His response is, are the sons of the wedding, the sons of the bridegroom able to sons of the bridal chamber, which is wedding guests, able to mourn? He says, as long as the bridegroom is with them. So, like, as long as the bridegroom's with them, are the guests going to be sad? And the answer is absolutely not. The days will come, future tense, when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast. So why don't the disciples of Jesus fast while he's there? And the answer is, quite simply, because he's there. Because he's there. He's there. And so there's no reason for preparation or mourning or anything like that. The preparatory seasons in the church are Advent and Lent. Violet seasons, which we prepare ourselves for his coming. When we celebrate his coming, Christmas and Easter, there's no need for fasting because he's come. And the disciples, who are there at ground zero for him being the Son of God in their midst, have no reason to be fasting because no one takes a patch, an unshrunken or a new piece of cloth on an old garment. For the patch tears from the garment, leaving the tear, making a worse tear made. Hey, Peter, good to see you. So he likens it to let me tell you about stitching and knitting. Good boy. Let me tell you a little bit about knitting. Here's the deal. You don't take a new piece of cloth and patch an old piece of cloth with a new piece of cloth, because the new piece of cloth is unshrunk and then the whole thing gets undone. Neither do you put new wine in old wineskins. Yeah, exactly right, Pastor Rake. With Jesus, no fasting. Without Jesus, time to fast. He is in the zone today. I think I found the formula about waking him up. I think I found the right way of making it happen. But we'll see. Time will tell. He's got we'd like to say in Cajun land, a rigmarole that he has to go through. A whole sort of list of things which help him to wake up for Bible study. If it is, the skin bursts and the wine is spilled and the skins are destroyed. But new wine is put in fresh wineskins, and so both are preserved. So his gospel, I like the let's sort of rejoice in the Lutheran Study Bible reference here. Jesus' illustration, the significance of his presence with two short parables, both of which communicate that someone new is here. He compares his ministry to unshrunken cloth and new wine. His gospel tore away and burst the old traditions and practices about fasting and table fellowship, wineskins, new goat wineskin bags, goat skin, when new, are able to withstand the pressure of fermenting wine. So if you put new wine in an old wineskin that's already sort of dealt with the rigors of the fermentation process, it bursts. So you got to get new wineskins for new wine to ferment in. He's in the zone. Now, while he is speaking these things, behold, an archon, a ruler of that ruler came to him, and he prostrated. He worshipped him, knelt before him, worshipped him, and said, "My daughter is about to die." Or no, she's just died. Excuse me, that is a past tense aorist. So simple past. My daughter has died just now. Arti, just now she's died. Just now she's died. But come and lay and place your hand upon her, that she would live. So, come to the Elijah bit, and be the God that raises the dead. Be that God that raises the dead. Come and do that. So while he's teaching, things are still happening. So, this is live with JC and how it goes. This is live with JC and how it goes. So, on the one hand, my gospel is so new, so radically different, and I'm teaching so radically different from the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all the teachers that came before. When I come, it's time to stop patching the old ways, don't put the new wine in the new wineskins. No time to fast, because the gospel's here. The kingdom of God is here. I'm here in your midst. And with me here, you have no need to fast. You could fast when I'm gone. But while I'm here, no need to fast. No need to fast at all. Instead, rejoice in the gift that I'm here. And while he's talking about this new kingdom where God saves sinners, where God has mercy on those who don't deserve mercy, when God is for tax collectors and for the sick and the people the losers that religion thinks are not, that God is not for, while he's delivering that gospel, somebody walks up and says, "My daughter's just died. I need you to come and be Elijah for her. Lay your hand on her." Elijah laid across her, but lay your hand on her and she'll live. And what Jesus does is he stands up, just like he rose from the dead. He rose up following him and his disciples following him. So everybody, he's following the guy, the disciples are following him. Are we all right now? Everybody on track. Behold. So we got another behold. This is practically Mark's gospel. One thing after another after another. Come on this side, buddy. Hey, come on this side. So we're getting the in-depth action of what's going on here. One thing after another thing happens after another. How's it going, bud? Oops, missed. So a woman, and she's Imor Roeo. She's bleeding. That you can see the word for she's bleeding. And she's been bleeding for dodeca 12 years. She's been so he's like, on his way to raise someone from the dead, and, ooh, wait, something new, something else. So this woman has been bleeding for 12 years. She comes up from behind him. It's an heiress. So she comes up from behind him. Oh. And she wants to touch the very sort of she wants to touch his garment so that he would save her. So thesomai, if I only touch his garment, I will be saved. I will be made well. She just wants to touch the edges of his garment, the very sort of thing by the feet of his garment. She doesn't have to Mary Magdalene and grab hold of him. She doesn't have to do that. She just wants to touch around where the foot is, just the very bottom of it. If I could just touch his garment, then I would be so thesomai. So often the Gospels speak of this word saved in the same regard as saved from illness. So she says, so the ESV says, so that I would be made well, but she literally says, so that I would be saved. The hem of his garment. Thank you, Sandra. So I just need to touch. Now, you don't tug on Superman's cape. But think about this. Her faith, I'm just going with what the text says, Erica. Her faith would have her touch just the very bottom of his garment. If she could just get to the very bottom of his garment, he doesn't have to do anything, because he's such a God as he will save her by just her touching him. And another gospel, I think it's probably Mark, says that he felt power had left him. That's kind of odd. Oh no, it's squeak toy time. It's a time for a shameless plug for Higher Things merchandise. If you don't have any, go to the store, link in the description. How desperate. How desperate. How desperate do you have to be to think that if you can just touch his garment, if you could just touch the hem of his garment, that you would be made well? How desperate. How desperate. How faith-filled as well. I don't even need you to do anything. I just need you to be the Son of God, and you will do all right. And he says the same thing to her that he said to the guy on the mat. Tharse, be of good cheer. Lift up your hearts. Daughter, your faith has saved you. Again, whichever one you pick for 21, you need to pick for 22. For 21, if you want it to be made well, then this is made well. But that word sozo for save is used versus save. So I think that she said, if I just touch his garment, I'll be saved. Right. Grace, this is something that this kept her unclean. This kept her separated. You think that the Rona quarantine is bad? Imagine being unable to go to church for 12 years. 14 days is putting us out. 14 days. Ah, Tim Rake. with such a gift. According to the rabbinic law, the fringe of or hem was allowed to touch the ground, but not the garment itself, in order that to be considered clean. So the garment itself is clean, but the hem of his garment is unclean because it touches the ground. And rake with the unbelievably wonderful observation that she touches the parts of him that are unclean. And and what a gift. He's going to take on her uncleanness. He's going to take on her sin. Do you guys hear the squeaks? I'm hearing the squeaks. Get over here, buddy. It's underneath there squeaking. Do you hear it? I think you do. But take heart. Lift up your heart. Your sins are forgiven. That was to the paralytic. Lift up your heart. Your faith has saved you. Now, was it her faith that saved her? Or was it her Jesus that saved her? Which saved her? Was it faith or Jesus? Was it faith or Jesus? It was Jesus, who is received by faith. Again, the great Dr. Nagel quote. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. The great Dr. Nagel quote, little Jesus, little faith, big Jesus, big faith. She had a big faith. She had a big Jesus who was able to heal her of her bleeding for 12 years, the thing which separated her, quarantined her from God and people. Come here, boy. Maybe Sandra's white. Maybe he doesn't like the white ones, the chicken ones. Nope, he'll eat them. Don't miss this though. Your faith has made you well. You know that you get Jesus and faith right when you can replace faith and talk about Jesus. Another Dr. Nagelism. What a gift. So you can replace your faith has made you well with your Jesus has made you well. And it works. Because faith and its object are indistinguishable. Faith knows only Jesus. I have such great faith. I have such great Jesus. That might work. Look at how great my faith is. Look at how great my Jesus is. The difference, though, is the second one moves us closer to him. Hello, how's it going? Can I help you at all? Are you aware that you're holding my squeak toy captive? You bet your sweet bippy I am. Oh, by the way, he still hasn't raised the kid from the dead. We just had this aside where this woman was made well at that very instant. She was saved at that very instant. What comfort. He takes on our uncleanness. And he gives us his righteousness. What comfort. What peace. What gift. Oh, it's okay. It's all good. And who is this guy again? Who is this guy? He is the God who saves sinners, who saves people who are separated from the church, who saves people you wouldn't expect him to save. He is that God, the God who desires mercy and not sacrifice, the God who cares for the lonely and the afflicted, the God who satisfies, who gives the kingdom of... Are you being rude? Get in your bed. Stay there. The God who gives gifts, who Those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, they're satisfied. Those who are poor in spirit, theirs is the kingdom of God. This woman, separated for 12 years, bleeding, touches his part of his garment that wasn't even considered clean. And he's healed. Somewhere in between wild, crazy, playing with toy Thor and sleeping Thor is the Thor that we would all like, right? Yeah. Continuing on, Maggie, Thor's biggest fan. I've never seen Thor bark before. Well, he barks at strangers, at vacuum cleaners, and people on bicycles and people who wear hats. He's like Groot. He doesn't like people that wear hats. It's like their head goes on forever. So 23 takes us back to JC on his way to raise someone from the dead. So what we're in is a story within a story. Here it comes. And when Jesus came to the ruler's house, 22, when Jesus came to seeing her, he said, sorry, your faith has made you well. That's 22. 23. And when Jesus came to the archon's house and seeing the flute players and the crowd and their thorubumenon, they're like creating a commotion. Mourning, it was a full-time job then. If you didn't have enough family, you could hire mourners. Nobody likes a wedding, a funeral that nobody attends. How sad is that? Everything is disrupted. Everything is messed up. Everything, it's all of the commotion. He experiences this in John's gospel when he gets to the tomb of Lazarus. There's the if you were just here, there's all the mourners, there's all the people that are following Mary Magdalene when she goes out to see him. And if you'd have just been here and Martha had done the same thing, it's a wonder that he didn't weep sooner because of all the death. Study Bible says that even poor people could hire two flute players. The organist. He says, go away. Y'all go away. It's a second person plural imperative. Y'all go away. She's not dead. The girl is not dead, but sleeping. And they laughed at him. They ridiculed him. Is she dead? Is she dead or is she sleeping? Now, why would they laugh? This is so important. They know what death is, and they know what dead people look like, and they know the things that follow death, the uncleanness of death. And I'm going to continue on that Jesus is taking on bleeding, death, lepers, all the things which are unclean. He's taking one by one all of this uncleanness, the ceremonially uncleanness, onto himself in order that we would be clean before God. the leper, the paralytic, the bleeding woman, and the dead. She was, in fact, dead. But he sees death. He sees death differently than everyone else. We see death as the end. In fact, we start talking about people who die in the past tense. The living get the present tense. The dead get the past tense. We make comments that are just absurd. She looks great. No, she looks dead. They did such a good job on her. She looks dead. And I'm not taking anything away from our mourning stuff. I'm just saying, dead is dead. And they know dead. They know what dead does. Since the fall, death has reigned. So when he says she's only sleeping, it's funny. He's making a joke. You're the Robin Williams of street preachers, JC. Love Pastor Semino's observation. They are smart, been to a lot of funerals. They know dead people when they see dead people. And the demonized man in the tomb, Jesus restores him, and that makes them put Jesus out. All the different things that he's doing in this to be the God that saves sinners. I mean, she's not dead, she's sleeping. He sees your death as a nap. Who doesn't need a nap? 3 times today, people have told me I look tired. There's nothing worse than that for a person like me. I feel great. I just didn't sleep well last night. That doesn't mean I'm tired. I'm great. But I could use a nap. Who couldn't use a nap? And death has gone from final judgment, the end, the undiscovered country, to a nap. A nap has an end. We wake up from the nap. Speaking of sleep. Oh, he's not asleep. He's awake. There you go, bud. And his view of death being a nap is mockable. Is mockable. Is mockable. You're a joke. I bet the lady who just wanted to take touch the hem of his garment, she was a joke too. She was a joke. That paralytic lying on the mat, he's a joke. That leper, another joke. You who believe in Jesus, you're a joke. The world thinks that you're fools. Bunch of jokes. And if they did this to him, if they mocked him, how much more are they going to mock you? You who care most about life over death. You who believe that it's not a woman's choice. You who believe that marriage is between Christ and his bride, the church. What a joke you are. What a joke. You want to wait for marriage? Joke. And it happens not only from the world, but also from our own family and our friends. You're a joke. Go away. The girl is not dead. She's sleeping. You're funny, Jesus, and stupid. When the crowd, 25, when the crowd had been ekbaloed, he exorcises the crowd. Get out. He casts them out. They were cast out. So the family must have done it. He went in and took her by the hand, and the girl rose. Tabitha Kumi in a different gospel. Little girl, I say to you, get up. Who is this God that raises the dead? He took the hand of a dead girl, and that makes him unclean. Jesus violates the law of holy separation between the clean and unclean, the living and the dead, the righteous and the unrighteous. Pretty radical. Tim, Pastor Rake, if you could use a term other than radical, please. Radical and Lutherans. Bad thing. Death has been swallowed up by the life of Jesus. In Luke 7, when he heals the widow's son at Nain, they all froze when he touched the bier, the cot that they were carrying him on. Because to do so would be to take on uncleanness. To do so was to touch death. Oh, he's not going to just touch death. It was such a cool throw. Too bad it didn't hit the mark. He's not just going to take on death. He's not just going to touch death. Death is going to swallow him and be done in by the swallow. Christus Victor again. That classic early church understanding of the atonement, that death, the devil, the world, our sinful flesh, the enemies of God, they snatch Jesus. They consume him on Good Friday. God finally bleeds. God finally dies. What Satan has wanted to do since the garden, kill God and take over. What we've wanted since the garden, we do. But death can't keep Jesus down. Death is undone by the life of the Son of God. You know, we have this one treat left. This is all that's left, Thor. You have eaten a ton today. Took her by the hand. In another gospel, he takes her downstairs and gives her back to his mother. And they fed her, which Luther takes as the Lord's Supper. But you can imagine, verse 26, that the news of this spreads all throughout the region. Hi, bub. Come over on this side. The news of this spreads all throughout the region. Can you imagine? This is the Jerusalem News Network. That guy just raised a kid from the dead. And he healed a leper. And he cleaned up a woman who was bleeding. And the lame walk. We need to take a break. One, I'm out of treats. And two, I don't think I can do the next second. Whoa, buddy. That's a little rude. We need to take a break. But just take this in. Learn about faith. Faith and Jesus. You can't pull them apart. You get faith right when you can stop talking about your faith and start talking about Jesus. Walther said it this way. You don't have to preach faith. Preach Jesus. Little Jesus, little faith. And here, it wasn't the faith of the paralytic that got him healed. The people had faith. The paralytic didn't. The Jesus of the woman saved her from her bleeding. But did the dead girl have faith? The people around her did. But is that what's going on here? Who is this God? And who's he for? Dead people, lepers, paralytics, tax collectors, sinners. Is God like this? Yes. He saves sinners. People the likes of you and me. And he takes on their sin. And he takes on their death. And he gives them his life. High five. All right. We're done. Have a great Sunday. Try to watch the streams of your services. It's Tune In Sunday. We'll see you Monday, 2 p.m. Thanks for all your concern about my health and well-being. I'm doing great. Pastor George Borghardt and Thor's gone, and we'll see you on Monday, 2 p.m.